Chapter 11. Friends. Friendship needs no words. It is the solitude delivered from the anguish of loneliness. Dag Hammarskjöld. A week after Jiraiya departed came the big day. It was the day before Naruto's 4th birthday. He woke up several times during the night because of his excitement. All of his friends said they would stop by to bring him a present. His daddy was actually taking him out of the village for his birthday to go camping. As he lay in his bed trying to go back to sleep again, he could not help but feel a little apprehensive as well. Sometimes he did not want to go outside, but he didn't know why he felt that way. The boy drifted off to sleep thinking of deep dark woods and eyes in the night, eyes full of hate watching him, wanting to hurt him. Then he saw silver light shining ahead in the distance. He ran towards it. For the first time, he caught up to it and grasped it in his small hands. His dream suddenly changed and there was his daddy standing before him. In a rush of color and sound, he stood in a bright beautiful meadow. The mid-morning sun warmed his skin while the cool breeze teased his hair. The sound of crickets filled his ears. He stood in a horse stance going through a new kata with his father. He felt the muscles in his arms and legs stretching as he extended his reach a little more without losing his balance. He repeated the motions several times then fell down. Kakashi smiled and held out his hand. In order to truly learn, we must fall, son. You can do it. You just have to. Get up, pup. You have a big day today. Naruto opened his eyes to see the silver-haired Nin sitting on his bed, gently shaking him. Daddy, he said, rubbing his eyes and yawning, I had the bad dream again, then I did what you told me to. I found you then we trained together. It was a nice dream. Kakashi smiled, that's really good to hear, pup. Since it's almost your birthday, you can have anything you want for breakfast. Naruto let out a shout, leaped up from the bed, and began to jump up and down. Ramen and cookies. Lots of cookies. He started to sing a do a booty dance, ramen, aha, aha, ramen ramen ramen, yeah baby, woohoo. Ramen it is, said Kakashi with a roll of his eyes as he left the boy's room to make him a big pot of his favorite food. Are you sure you don't want eggplant? He joked then laughed at the gagging sound he made. Not long after, 2 figures made their way toward the Hatake home. Do you think he will be up yet, father? Sai asked, holding wrapped gift in his hands and walking serenely beside Ibiki. Do you think he will enjoy this? Why are we doing this again? There was a subtle inflection in his voice that had not been there not long ago. It made the scarred Nin smile. Well, Sai, if he's anything like you, then I would say, yes, he is awake, he replied. He has probably been up since the crack of dawn. You are giving him a present because that is what friends do, and yes, I am sure he will love it. He had been bringing the Sai to visit with the Hatake boy at the park at least once a week. He hoped Naruto's cheerful disposition would somehow have an impact on his indifferent son, and it seemed to be working. It seemed so unnatural for a child so young to never smile. Ibiki reminded Sai, do not forget your manners. Remember what we discussed about nicknames too. Sai bowed his head then knocked quietly on the door. Ibiki stood next to him and waited until the silver-haired man wearing a mask opened the door. Between his legs stood a small blonde boy, dressed in footed pajamas with ninjas on them, looking fearfully around. As soon as he recognized the guests, his face transformed with exhilaration. Daddy, it's Sai. See, it's Sai. Sai came to see me at my house. Kakashi smiled fondly at him, I see that, pup. Let's let them in, shall we? Sai stood formally in front of Naruto and handed him the gift. I made this for you. He looked up at his father who waved his hand for him to continue, happy birthday, Naruto. Wow, said the blonde boy as he opened the gift, which turned out to be a very good picture of himself. Look daddy, it's me. He drew me. That's so cool, Sai, thanks. He then grabbed the other boy and pulled him toward the stairs. Come on, and come see my room. I got ningas. We can play. Come play with me. Sai allowed himself to be dragged up the stairs with a tiny smile on his lips. It was hard to dislike Naruto. Kakashi was not quite sure how it happened, but somehow he and Ibiki became friends. They had worked together several times before, but they had never really been friends. It all started when he convinced the new head of torture and interrogation to visit the orphan Sai with him. When Kakashi and Ibiki went to the orphanage, they were ushered right away to the odd pale little boy. The worker gushed about him the whole way in a manner that seemed very insincere. Apparently, the boy was not well liked. Ibiki was drawn to him from the moment he met him. First off, he never flinched or averted his eyes when he saw the man's scarred countenance. It was rare to deal with a person who did not continually stare at his face. The boy was a peculiar one though. Danzo had done quite a number on the boy. He was emotionless except for his art. Sai and Ibiki were like two halves of a whole. Drawing was Sai's art, while dealing with the mind was Ibiki's, as he considered psychological and physical torture an art form. He had the ability to manipulate and sculpt the mind and body to any shape he wanted. He took the boy home with him that day without thinking twice. Ever since his brother had left, he had no one to take care of, no one to be there for. As they walked together towards the Hatake house, he studied the boy covertly. He had not regretted it for 1 second. Behind the closed doors of his home, he smiled and was happy. Someday he hoped the serious little boy would be too. Like Naruto, he had moments of waking dreams and nightmares that haunted him. Sai. The first memory the boy could recall was of him sitting on a bed drawing a picture. Whose bed it was, he did not know. A man in a mask came into the room and asked him who he was. I am called Sai. Is that your real name? Where are you from? I do not know the answer to either question, was his emotionless reply. It was true, he did not know. He was sure Sai was not his real name. It fluttered at the edge of his consciousness, but every time he tried to reach after it, it moved further away. It was frustrating, maddening, and tedious to him, so he stopped trying. Now he was just Sai. The next thing he knew, he was living in a strange place with many other children. He did not fit in there and he knew it. The other children did not like him and he knew that too. He was too odd, too emotionless, too cold and distant. He did not understand their fixation on the childless games they played. Why would someone want to play a game when you could be training your mind and body to get stronger? He felt alone, all alone. He liked to sit in the garden and study the beauty all around him, but not because it was pretty, because it was filled with detail. He liked to study the way the colors on the flowers merged into each other and changed into a new one. He was a very observant boy. Someone had trained him to be that way, but he could not remember who. One day a man came to see him. He was fascinating. The scars that traversed his face lent him a uniqueness that Sai found appealing. The taciturn mien piqued his interest as no other had ever before. Do you like it here, Sai? He asked. The boy thought for a moment and then replied, I do not know. Should I? You have children your own age to play with, a warm bed to sleep in each night, and good food to eat every day. It sounds like a nice place to be. I am different from everyone else. I do not understand friendship, but I think I would like to. I think it might be nice to have someone who understands me. The other kids are scared of me because of the things I can do, like get up on the roof. And how do you do that? Sai replied, I jump. I can also draw a picture that move. Ibiki was impressed to say the least that a 5-year-old could manage those things already. He understood what it was like for people to be scared of him, and not just because of his face. He specialized in the torture and interrogation of prisoners. Many people thought he was sadistic and avoided him, but the truth was, he did what he did for the village he loved. Although the boy was very young, Ibiki deemed him mature enough to handle the truth, so he told him what he did for a living, without going into too much detail. He concluded with, "So what do you think about me? You are a shinobi, so I guess you got your scars doing your duty. You have not quit, so you probably have courage. You are the head of your unit, so you got to be trusted, and you are a jonin, so you must have some skills." "I like to think that I have a little more than some skills," he joked. "You are very perceptive, aren't you?" Sai just shrugged. No doubt about it, he liked this boy. He thought that maybe Kakashi was right. He said that the children with nin abilities should not be in an orphanage. They would need someone to help them develop their talents. Besides, it had been nearly a year since his brother had left and he wanted to do a better job. "How would you like to come home with me?" It was easy, no ridiculously easy to take care of the boy. In the 2 weeks he had Sai, he never complained, never whined, and was always quiet and serious. Ibiki hated it. He wanted to see some life in the child. He wanted to see him laugh. It made him think of Kakashi's boy. With the atrocities that kid suffered, he should be as lifeless as a zombie, but he wasn't. He was a prankster and a little ball of energy wrapped in sunshine. Although his eyes started to twitch like mad, he knew what he had to do. They introduced at the park. Ibiki told Sai there was someone he wanted him to meet. Both the man and the child felt so awkward standing there waiting. Children, scared of the huge nin's appearance, ran to the other side of the park. They sat on a bench and waited for an hour. "Yo," said the nin behind him lazily. "You're late, Kakashi," growled Ibiki. Naruto piped up, "Well, you see there was this cat and it was stuck in a tree, huh daddy? And then it kept jumping higher and higher until it fall down and I caught it and then we had to find its owner, huh daddy?" Kakashi grinned beneath his mask, "That's absolutely right, son." Naruto sniggered then looked curiously at the boy sitting next to Ibiki. "Yeah sure," grunted Ibiki. He put his hand on Sai and introduced him to the others. The boy just nodded, unsure what to say. Not Naruto though. Once he saw that the boy was not going to give him any evil looks, he sat down next to him. "So, know any good jokes?" asked Naruto. Sai shyly shook his head, while Ibiki's eye began to twitch. He remembered the time he spent with Naruto. The boy followed him around all day telling the worst jokes ever. "Why don't you two play?" he practically shouted. "Oh sure. So Sai, do you know how to make fruit punch? You give it taijutsu lessons." Ibiki groaned. "How do you catch a unique rabbit? Unique up on it." Sai blinked and scratched his head. "How do you catch a tame rabbit? Tame way, unique up on it." Said Sai. "Did you know that the human head is still alive for 20 seconds after it is cut off?" Naruto blinked, no. "What you call a deer with no eye?" he quizzed. Said Sai. "No eye deer. Get it?" "Get it," he giggled, "no eye deer. Get it? What you call a deer with no eyes and no legs?" Sai looked at Ibiki in confusion when Naruto said, "Still no eye deer." Sai's mouth moved up a little. Ibiki's eye twitched again. "Did you know that nutmeg can kill you if it's injected into your body?" asked Sai. "Huh, really?" he asked. "What did the ninja say to the pirate?" "Nothing, cause he was sent to kill him." Naruto poked his side and said, "Come on Sai, you know you'll wanna laugh. How about this one? How do you know when a cat's done cleaning itself?" "'Cause it smokes a cigarette." Sai looked confused, "I don't get it." Me either, but my daddy says it's funny." He jumped off the seat and smiled at Sai, "So you wanna go play now? We can go swing." Every week, Ibiki brought his new son to the park to play with Naruto. Slowly, Sai began to show an interest in being more social. He made a friend in Naruto, who accepted him for the reserved boy he was. He even tried to do his own jokes and make up nicknames for everyone, unfortunately for Ibiki. Kiba. Kiba was on a mission. He raced through his compound dodging Ninken and leaping over their holes. His friend's birthday was tomorrow, and since he was leaving tonight, he and his mom were going to his house to bring him a present. He had a special gift he made all by himself. Just as he was arriving, Sai was leaving. Honestly, he sometimes did not understand why Naruto liked that kid. He was always saying the wrong thing. On the other hand, it was pretty funny when he said it to someone else. Maybe he wasn't so bad. Cat lover Sai greeted. "I'll go get some sun, vampire boy," he growled in mock anger. He pounded on the door in excitement, then raced in without greeting Kakashi. Both adults just rolled their eyes at the impetuous boy who was shouting at the top of his lungs for Naruto. Kiba loved a good fight. He was an impulsive, reckless, and loud sort of kid, a lot like Naruto could be at times. They tended to get into a lot of fights because of their similarities, but they always remained friends. What Kiba loved most about his friend was his quick mind. Naruto's brilliance really showed when they were sparring or running from a prank. That is when he truly shined. He always knew when to duck and hide and when to stand and fight. Shikamaru was the smartest of his friends, but Naruto was the most devious. Kiba followed Naruto's answering shout to his bedroom, which was now painted an eye-searing orange. He rubbed his eyes at the color and laughed at his friend. "Tell me you didn't really pick out this color." At Naruto's proud nod, he laughed. "Here, I got you something for your birthday. Don't let your dad see it. You can use some of this stuff camping." He gave a clumsily wrapped gift to Naruto, who opened it with relish. Naruto clapped his hands over his mouth to hide his squeal of delight. "Kiba, you are the bestest friend ever." Kiba gave him pranking supplies and candy, lots of candy. He knew exactly how his friend reacted with a little extra sugar. He found Naruto high on sugar to be hilarious. "Please wait until after your trip before you eat the candy though. That way I can be here to see it." Kiba gave a little wicked laugh as he began to imagine the possibilities. "When you get back, I got an idea for a new joke. I saw this sushi place and in the back of it, they got this bin where they put all the fish heads in. We should use them for something." Naruto giggled. "We can sneak into the market and hide pieces all round the shops, and in the morning there will be kitties everywhere. They will be all like meow meow meow, and the shop workers will be trying to chase them away all day. It will be really funny." Kiba looked at his friend in awe. "I knew you would come up with something that was real good, Naruto. I just knew it. Hey, you know what else we should do? We should go into one of the public restrooms stalls and make noises like we're having trouble and then drop something big into the toilet and then it'll make a huge splash and then we'll say aha. I got a pretend turd we can throw down on the ground too." Both boys laughed hard at the idea. "I got something for you, Kiba. Wait here so I can get it." He ran out of the room and came back a few seconds later. "We gotta hurry. I think you mama's gonna come get ya." "Here it is," he said, showing the boy the huge bottle of super concentrated bubble bath. "Kurenai gave it to me last time she watched me. I only used a little bit and there was bubbles going down the stairs." They looked at each other in a conniving way and said at the same time, "The public bathhouse. When you comin' back in Naruto, 'cause I miss ya already," declared Kiba. He heard his mother yell. "Gotta go, happy birthday and I'll see ya when you get back." During the day Shikamaru and Chuji stopped by and gave him presents, then later came the older people, Genma, who gave him Sinbon, Guy, training weights, Hayate, Atonto, Enko, and Kurenai, clothes from the girls. They didn't stay long because there was a festival going on and he was not allowed go for some reason. All his friends were going to it and he wanted to go too, but they were going camping tonight. It was almost time to leave for their trip. They were waiting on one of his daddy's friends. As Kakashi prepared their packs, he remembered the meeting he had with the Hokage. The old man did not want him to take the boy out of the safety of the village. Kakashi simply reminded him that it would be October 10th. That day had never safe for Naruto. Sarutobi agreed as long as he brought along an umbu to help protect them. Kakashi thought that was a little ridiculous seeing as how he was once umbu, but allowed it. He chose the nin personally. Hearing a knock, he went down the stairs and answered the door. Two figures stood there, one with the typical regal bearing of a proud umbu Black Ops member, the other smaller and thinner, but no less proud. They both carried packs on their backs. The taller one said, "I brought this one to amuse your boy." Kakashi looked down and thought, well, this ought to be interesting. Hopefully they get along for the next 3 days.
Alright guys, that's gonna be this episode, episode 9 of What If Naruto was adopted by Kakashi. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please like, subscribe, tell me what you loved about it. And as always, I don't own this, and have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next part. Bye.